Abraham Lincoln, who was famous in his youth for his skills as a woodcutter, once said, "Give me 6 hours to chop a tree, and I will spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe." And to me, that's what the War Room is all about, sharpening the axe. It is the crucible in which management students sharpen the axe and then learn to apply the theoretical elegance of their textbooks to the messy realities of a real-life problem.
The main difference between War Room and all other corporate competitions is that other competitions give hypothetical cases, while War Room has real-life challenges.
When it comes to classroom learning, there is only so much that you can learn. When it comes to Mahindra War Room, there's one case and you have to think about all the aspects that are there in it.
The War Room is like the Wimbledon of all B-school competitions.
In War Room every year, 10,000 students participate. I personally get involved in defining the life cases, and I'm always amazed at the new perspective that we get out of the war rooms.
In the year 2011, we watched the IIM Ahmedabad make a presentation and they came up with this idea of a tractor rental model.
After looking at the various problems that farmers face at a grassroots level, we found out that one of the major pain points was that very few farmers could afford to buy a tractor. When we went in for the War Room finale, we were a bit apprehensive because we knew our ideas were radical, as we were suggesting tractor rentals to a company that actually sells tractors.
Since then, we've piloted it and taken it to a stage of creating a new company, a startup in fact, called Tringo.com. And Tringo is now in the course of becoming a farm rental equipment model, not just tractors. And we believe that it will be one of the great sources of creating access.
The response we got from the leaders was extremely positive and sort of reinforced to us that we were right to assume that the Mahindra Group has always valued disruptive innovation.
It was in one of these war rooms a few years ago that I got convinced that Mahindra should explore the dairy business and the edible oil business.
In 2012, the winning team of the War Room competition gave me a strategy presentation on how to enter the dairy business. And one of the key recommendations was that we need to focus on sourcing and develop unique competencies at the back end. While it seemed simple, but when we went into more detail, we realized the power of this simple suggestion.
Fresh insights coming from young and bright minds from the Indian B schools, along with the industry experience of Mahindra leaders, that combination is heady indeed.
If you look at the cases that we've selected over time, we've therefore tried to choose cases which are real issues that we are grappling with, either in terms of live problems or in terms of opportunities that we see in terms of new customer segments that we can tap. And these are the kind of problems or opportunities that we tend to put forth.
I think what the War Room experience gives us is access to extraordinary talent and quick analysis in a matter of maybe 6 to 8 weeks that we might otherwise take 6 to 8 months and may not even get it right. And over the years, we have found that some of the conclusions and insight that they've provided give us a number of nuggets that we have gone ahead and implemented in our strategic thinking, and sometimes even tactically implemented in our business that have led to great benefit.
As college students, we take part in lots and lots of case studies and we like these kind of challenges. And similarly, we expected a lot of hard questions, a lot of severe critique on whatever we are going to present. On the contrary, what we saw was that there was genuine interest from the leadership. They were actually listening to all that we had to say with open minds and receiving all that we were presenting, which was really, really heartwarming.
In 2015, there were 2 teams, 1 winners and 1 runners-up. Both of them were working on Club Mahindra. That was a rare occasion. In the first one, the suggestion that came from Micah was, can we look at a points-based system by which people can transact based on the points earned? And the idea that came from NMIMS was to see whether we can launch a mobile app. We ended up launching a mobile app. The mobile app has seen 150,000 downloads, and the digitization journey for Club Mahindra began from then on.
The War Room experience has always been about connecting the two worlds of business and academia. This seamless unity creates shared value, which in fact is the real magic of the war room.
So it's this holistic experience that prepares our students for a transformation learning experience. And students have shared consistently that what they are learning is how to operate and work together as a team to be successful and develop a successful strategy. And I think team learning is the most valuable aspect of educational environment and a business environment, and it's not a simple skill to teach. It's only when you experience challenges to work together as a team and then come together to build on each other's knowledge and present a strategy, you can shine.
The case that we had last year is a case in point. We actually look at the whole space of the shared economy, looked at millennials and how the future of living would change in the context of reducing asset ownership. And that was a problem that we put out to the campuses in terms of solving for the future of living.
While we were going through all of the caselets which were presented before us, we were so overwhelmed. There were cases which were right from the automotive industry to IT to agriculture. But the Mahindra Life Spaces cases was something that we could connect easily to. We thought that this is a real life problem that we are going to face once we step out of campus. And this was so personal to us, as millennials especially.
The fact that the millennials themselves were working on solutions for the future of living to their own target segment, their own type of customers, was very interesting because it brought in real customer insight, even by the people who were creating the solutions. The winning team last year, Mica, came up with some very interesting suggestions around how we should advance in this space. And we actually have team members from that team today part of the company.
I remember I cried the day that I got the offer from Mahindra Life Spaces because it was a dream come true for me. At that point, after the campus PPIs were over, there were a couple of companies on campus, but I refused to sit for the interviews that day because I was literally waiting for the results of Mahindra to come out.
And so when you have students who've actually worked on these live problems, joining us in the workforce, it brings in a certain special magic because here's somebody who's actually associated with the problem, understood it, worked on it, and is then coming into a live situation to implement it.
And now when I have participated with War Room and got this opportunity to work in the group, I realize how important or how serious this event is for the group and how each business head or the CEO puts in enormous time and effort and the commitment of top management to it. So the whole experience that we had, it was not accidental.
It was unlike any other competition and personal on so many levels. The way we were taken around the organization, given exposure to the businesses, and having a lot of opportunities to interact with the leaders was very awe-inspiring.
Everything was so beautifully created that it gave us a huge learning experience.
Coming out from our college discussion rooms, the library rooms and everything, and entering this big hall of the Grand Hyatt and, looking at the entire setup before the final rehearsal, we were actually spellbound by the entire setup. And we were like, wow, this is something really huge and something really amazing.
So just before the winners were announced, Verdi said this one line. He said that this campus has made winning a habit. And we knew it was us. And at that moment, everything just paused and we were looking at each other and I had gone numb. I was in shock. I couldn't believe it that we'd won.
And then finally, after all the awards and accolades they gave us, Anand came to us. He gave us his card and he said, why don't you guys mail me your presentation? We took all the jury feedback of all the rounds, reworked on the deck, and then we sent it back to him. And you won't believe, within 24 hours, he replied back to us saying, thanks guys, I look forward to pursuing it. We were more happy seeing his email than the announcement was made because that was such a big moment.
Every time I participate in the war room, I have this sense that I'm witness to something really powerful being created. It's like being in what the Buddhists call the Bardo moment, the silence between two epochs. It's that moment which is fraught with 1,000 possibilities and you don't know which of these possibilities is going to manifest into a reality. I just find it so exciting to be able to say later on, I was there when it all began.